What's up, guys? This is Shao here for the Team Fantasy Football League Commissioner Cody. We're here back with your Week 4 recap. Um, well, lots of stuff changed. A couple of our undefeated teams have lost. A couple of our winless teams have won. Let's get into it. Starting off with our defending champion, Phil, as always. Fortunately for Phil this time, we have something decent to talk about. He gets the win. So it was number 2, Scott, undefeated number 2, Scott, versus winless number 15, Phil. Score was 193.74 for Scott to 206.51 for Phil. Phil revenges or avenges, whatever, his week 1 loss in the 2-time champ battle with Scott. Let's just take a look and see what happened here. So star performers we'll start with Phil. Mahomes with 48.97, that's solid, obviously. Rodgers has a decent game with 28.67. Phil didn't really have anybody else that stood out. I mean, he had Darius Leonard has 17 points. That was his third highest score, I believe. He left a lot of points on his bench, but then again, who would have thought Miles Sanders would be a bum? Actually, I think he got hurt, so I wouldn't say he'd be a bum, but who would have thought Kenneth Gainwell would come in and put up 21.65? But you have him, so you can start him this week. Devontae Parker put up 17.7. But other than that, I mean, it was just a solid output for Phil, with a almost 50-point leader from Mahomes. So, shout out to Phil he overcame a 1.6 from Nyheim Hines. So, shout out to him for that. His punter only put up 3.84, so, that sucks. But it is better than what Scott's punter did, 3.2. Looking over Scott's team, his top performer, Cordarrelle Patterson with 38.85 points. I would not bank on that every week. Austin Eckler with 34.25 points. And then Goff with 20.91. And like Phil, and obviously he had less points than Phil, he didn't have, much else after that. I mean, he had Roquan Smith with 15.5, Calvin Ridley with 15, a couple other teeners. But it's just, when you have both starting quarterbacks combined for 33, Mahomes had 40, almost 50, so, it's just unfortunate. Scott, had an off week. It happens. It's fantasy football. Can't expect to go undefeated. I don't think I've seen it in competitive league. Personally, looking at his bench, he didn't leave too much. I mean, AJ Green with 18.7. I mean, obviously you could, say, well, what if I put him in for Jalen Waddle? I mean, you can say that for anything and anybody, but the fact of the matter is he didn't do that. And he lost. It's just unfortunate. It happened. I lost this week. We'll get into that later. It just happened. So shout out Phil for finally getting a dub. Being a worthy defending champion. Moving on, we have number 7, Hobert, versus number 13, Joe. Hobert comes up victorious, 187.33 to 175.34. His leading performers were 30.93 from Justin Herbert, and his Bills defense put up 26.14. That was pretty much it as far as overperformers. I mean, Jameis was his third best performer with 18.94 points. I mean, you got the win, so that's good, but just, you left Randall Cobb on your bench. Not that you necessarily would start him for 23.9 points. Jamison Crowder's just a PPR machine every time he's on the field. So, 19.91 points. Josh Jacobs with 13.95 on your bench. I'm not saying you should have or would have started any of those guys. Just stating that they had a lot of points on your bench. That's it. Looking over at Joe's team, he only started one quarterback. He thought he was going to get cute. And, Joe, this is actually, I hope you learned a lesson, because you would have whooped Hobert. Just playing normal, and just he's, shoulda, woulda, coulda, whatever, I get it. But I'm just saying, you literally had 2 starting quarterbacks. And I know that Zach Wilson didn't do anything last week, but I just, I tried to tell you. Your top three performers were Zeke with 26.3, Tannehill with 19.77, and CJ Mosley with 19.5. Like I said, you left Zach Wilson on your bench with 26.13. If you switch him out for Brandon Ayuk in your OP spot, I mean, that's another literal 20 points. And you only lost by 12. So, just things to think about, Joe. If you have two quarterbacks, doesn't matter if they suck. You just need to put them in there. What happened with Doug 2 weeks ago isn't going to happen consistently. You had some solid performances, like secondary performances, but like I said, we played Call of Duty together, and I told you on Call of Duty, like, are you sure that's what you want to do? And you said, yeah. You only put, you gave me your case, and I get it. I wouldn't do that in the future. It could be 2-2 instead of 1-3 right now. Just saying. Moving on, we have number 5, Doug, off of his infamous win against Greg off their rough loss. Number 10, Greg. This wasn't very close. Doug takes a pounding by over 100 points. He puts up 113.82 to Greg's 240.15. And just to put that into context, if you're not good at math, that's more than double. It's unfortunate for Doug. I can't say that, necessarily. I mean, let's see. Well, he left some points on your bench. Not that it would have changed the trajectory of your team, winning or not. Actually, it might have. Well, Logan Thomas got hurt, so you didn't know that was going to happen. Sorry, let's hold on to Doug. We're going to go to the winning side because Greg won without Dalvin Cook having a big game, which is very impressive. Leading performers were Matt Ryan with 41.37, Jalen Hurts with 37.58, DJ Moore with 35.65, and just that right there just tells you the framework of their team. It's just their top 3 performers put up 35 plus, which is just huge. And then you have a guy like Justin Jefferson popping in with 20. And then you get, one of your linebackers with 16. Your DB put up 14. It's just, solid backup role playing. I mean, you're not going to 17.7 from Joe Mixon. I just didn't see it there. Just solid contributors throughout the entire roster. You're not going to, when we see a 250 point, I mean, this was close. Greg has been close multiple times. But when we see a 300-point game, that's when everybody is like, a team is just going to hit on everybody. Now, what team is that going to be? We have yet to see that. We haven't even seen 250 yet. And, Greg put up 250. I mean, they left Leonard Fournette. I talked big shit on Leonard Fournette. He puts up 21 points. Could have put him in for Lockett. Not that you would have, because Lockett is Tyler Lockett. Jared Cook put up 19. Not that your lineup's pretty much set. It's not like, you're going to start flipping people in and out. But you did leave 78 points on your bench, which was still more than what Doug put on his bench, unfortunately for him. Over to Doug's team, like I said, he only put up 113.82 points, so it's kind of rough. He didn't have a second, or I guess he did have a second. I don't know what happened in San Francisco. I haven't watched a lot of football. At least last week, I didn't watch any football. So starting Sony Michel over Trey Lance, I don't know. No, Jimmy Garoppolo got hurt in the game, and then Trey Lance came in. So I think that's what happened. So I get it, starting Sony Michel. But negative 0.15 points. You gave up negative 5 points from Justin Fields last week and got the dub big time. I just don't see it happening again, obviously. Didn't work out too well for you. Leading performers, James Robinson, 25.1. And then your next two, the Ravens defense with 18.34, and Tremaine Edmonds, your IDP player position, because we have 4, and and if you don't know, it's fine. Rewatch the videos. 13.5 from him. 2 goose eggs on his team. 1 defender. He's a deep lineman. Just a rough week for Doug. Tyler Boyd on his bench with 21.8. Especially without T. Higgins, he's an instant start. This upcoming week, you should have 2 starting quarterbacks for the first time this season, so I'm very interested to see what your lineup looks like in the next video because I haven't looked at it yet. You also left Quinn and Williams on your bench with 14.5. Not that you would have won the game in any stretch of the imagination, just because mathematically you physically couldn't have. Like with what Greg put up on their roster, if you added 113.82 plus a 75.63, that would put you at like less than 190. So just not that you did anything wrong, Doug. It's just unfortunate. This is fantasy football. It is what it is. Congratulations, Greg, back on the winning streak. Rough loss for you last week to Kyle. That punter really got you. But you bounced back, and you're back to running house in the regular season, apparently. Doug, better luck next week. We'll get into that when the time comes in the next video. Moving on, we have Kyle off an impressive win over Greg, number 9, versus Brandwagon, number 8. Sorry, Brandwagon, I just remember those were the impressive games that I freaked out about, so I don't remember your game as much or who you played, to be honest with you. I couldn't tell you who you played. Maybe it was Will? Did you beat Will? I don't know. It's irrelevant. I'm over it. I don't know. It's gonna kind of bother me. Anyway, it doesn't matter. As I said 5 times. Kyle takes the L to Brandwagon. 170.01 to Brandwagon's 213.57. Brandwagon's top performers, you have Daniel Jones with 42.78, Dak Prescott with 38.62, and Jonathan Taylor with 25.4. Also big contributors, Chase Edmonds with 21.9, Bucks defense with 17.35, Cole Holcomb, one of his defenders, 14.5. So just his punter put up 11.27. So his team overall put up a very solid output. Unfortunately, you got a goose egg from Jabril Peppers. I don't know if he got hurt or not. Looking at your bench, the only thing that you really have that put up anything significant worth looking at was Mark Andrews with 11.7. And I'm not saying you would have started him over anybody, not that you needed to because you won, so I'm gonna stop there. Congratulations on your win, Brandwagon. We'll see where you're at next week. I don't know who you play, so we'll get there next time. Congratulations. Moving on to Kyle. Kyle's top 3 performers, we have Saquon with 33.85, Dawson Knox with 20.7, and Nick Chubb with 17.75. Other key contributors, Kyle, quarterback position is definitely rough for you. I know we had talked, you were interested in quarterbacks, and I don't have any to give you because I'm looking to upgrade myself. So we have Baker, Baker, unfortunately, 7.7. Jimmy G with 12, and he got hurt, so just unfortunate. Jamar Chase came back down to earth last week. It's just 0 points from your punter. You didn't leave anything on your bench, so it's not like you missed out on anything. Just a rough week for you. If you had a top performer like with Saquon, you would have had a chance to be a higher. You have a bunch of 10s and 12s and teeners, so if you can get yourself somebody to hop up in with that Saquon talk, you're definitely, then that puts you in a contender consideration, not just the hype thing that I did last week. So better luck next week. Moving on, congratulations, Brandwagon, as I had said. All right. This was the matchup of the week with power rankings. Number 3, Liam, versus number 4, Cody. Liam just brought his A game this week, and 237.58 to Cody's 198.69. Liam's top performers, Deebo Samuel 39.2, you had Derrick Henry with 34.95, and Matthew Stafford with 29.6. Just a solid outing for Liam. He also had secondary scoring from Mac Jones with 24.65, Kareem Hunt with 20.1, Marquise Hollywood Brown with 20.1, DK Metcalf with 16.5. His offensive players were super solid. If Liam had consistent defensive points, he's that close to hitting 250. He had three stud players, then he had a bunch of secondary 20-pointers, and then his defense just fell apart. And it's not his fault, defenders. I don't know what I'm doing with my defenders. you know, I mean they put up points. I don't know. We'll get into my team, but Liam's bench. Not that he needs to look at it because he won. AJ Dillon with 14.45. Not that I would have started him again. Still, that's what's even crazier is AJ. He drafts AJ Dillon in the second round, and he's this good. He hasn't even played AJ Dillon. Not that he's worth playing at this point. It's just crazy to me that that blunder just doesn't matter. Like he just said, "Fuck you guys. Take my second round pick. I'm still gonna fucking run train on everybody, except for Cody once, but he got revenge this week, so it's fine." Noah Fant with 16.5. J-Ron Curse, I don't know who the hell that is. 11.5 points. Whatever. Doesn't matter because he just, his team's good. Moving over to Cody's team, top three performers: Sam Darnold with 38.24. Russell Wilson with 26.96, and wow, that sucks. 19 from Antonio Gibson. Also contributing was Jacoby Myers with 17.4. Waller the baller, balls to the Waller. 16 point, from 0.5. I had solid contributing defensive points from my players, so I'm happy overall with that. Especially with the injuries that have occurred and just disappointing with my draft picks at defense. There's nothing really else to talk about my team. It just was disappointing. I didn't, I almost hit 200 just because I had solid background play in the teens, but nobody, I didn't have anybody other than, I had two of my entire line, two of my 14 starters scored over 20 points, 26 points technically, but it just was a rough week. That also didn't help that my rookies finally, not rookies, but my late round picks decided to show up. Like Darnell Mooney puts up 21.25. Amon-Ra St. Brown puts up 14.5. Michael Carter puts up 16.65. Not that I would have started them necessarily. I mean, I wouldn't have started anybody over Kelsey. If anything, it would have been my flex with Jamal Williams. Instead, Mooney would have been a likely legitimate dart throw there over Jamal Williams, but that 11 points wouldn't have made a difference. So I'm not losing sleep over the loss because I didn't make any poor decisions, I would say, that would have made or break my game. Like I said, just a solid outing from Liam, well deserved. As I said in the last video, that when I picked him to win, I had a feeling this would happen. And, well, at least I took the dub there. So, I told you guys I was going to use it, so I used it. Moving on. Shout out to Liam. Your team is a tank, as it always is, and I don't like you in fantasy football. I love you, but I hate you at the same time. Moving on. We have number 16, Jay, versus number 11, Dylan. Jay takes another L with 157.35 to Dylan's 198.34. Just a rough outing for Jay again. We'll get into his team, as I always say. Looking at Dylan's top three performers, we have Joe Burrow with 33.17, Deontay Johnson with 26.7, and Denzel Perryman, his linebacker in his defensive position spot, 19 points, which is always great to have your third best player, your third best scorer, a defender, except it was only 19 points. But you did, well, I can't say you outscored me, but I was just gonna say you outscored me, so I'll shut up. But you didn't, so I'm not gonna shut up. I'm just kidding. You did get a win, so I'll let that happen. I'll let you slide. I don't know what I'm saying at this point, so forgive me. Other performers, just solid performers. Lots of teens players, as I mentioned. Derek Carr was 17.89. Keenan Allen had 10. I don't know if that's a teen. Deion Jones, all his defenders had solid 10s. So as long as you guys can find in your defense, special teams, the Colts put up 15. So, and your punter put up 10. So, like, if you can get that solid 10 to 15 points from your IDPs, your defenders, even if you can get that 10 points from your punter and maybe 10 from your kicker, like, it doesn't even matter what your top looks like. As long as they hit like a 20 piece, like, you're pretty much guaranteed to win unless you just play somebody that blows up. So, shout out to Dylan for having a solid, backup crew. He is missing that big smack, for lack of a better term. Forgive me. But like I said, I like Dylan's team a lot, and he seems to know what he's doing with his defensive players. So, I know he's 1-3, but I keep saying it. It obviously doesn't matter what I say because they play games. I just sit here and ramble for 30 minutes each week about shit, more like an hour because of 2 videos. But I digress. The point I'm trying to make is I like the team, Dylan. I just, I don't know what I'm saying, honestly. Moving on. Congratulations on the win, Dylan. That's what I'm saying. Jay. Let's see. Your top 3 performers, we have Carson Wentz with 26.77, Darrell Henderson with 20.1, and Kenny Golladay with 20.1. So that's all fine and dandy. But then your other starting quarterback puts up 7.35, Teddy Bridgewater. That's unfortunate. Your Packers defense put up 16.7, 0.17, 0.17, you had a couple decent point scores, but when you get that 7 points from a quarterback, it's like a shot in the heart. Like, you need a defender just to put up 20 points just because, like, it's just that's the type of day it is. It's just unfortunate. The kicker put up 0. Your bench didn't leave much on there. Robbie Anderson put up 10.15. Not that you would have started him over anybody. And maybe Mecole, but it wouldn't have changed the difference. Just a rough week for you. Latavius Murray had 16.5 on your bench. Again, it still wouldn't have changed anything. Shout out to Dylan. That's just a solid win overall. Moving on. We have number 14, Jerry, versus number 6, Craig. And I picked this matchup last week. I picked Jerry to win the upset. And Jerry came through for me. Almost made shit fall. Shout out to Jerry for his first ever. I'm sorry I don't sound enthusiastic. I am just very tired, and I have a long night ahead of me. Wedding stuff going on. Shit like that. Anyway, I am very happy for you, Jerry. I'm very happy for everybody winning, by the way. Like I said, not a lot of enthusiasm. This is the only time all week that I've had to do this, and I'm just tired. So forgive me. I'm sorry. Very happy for you, Jerry. First ever win in fantasy football. First career win. He was so happy he put on a Snapchat story, so that makes me happy that he's enjoying, he's embracing, he's understanding what's happening. I see him moving stuff on the waiver wire, so I like what you're doing, Jerry. I like that you're paying attention. That's all you have to do, just pay attention, do what you think is right. Sometimes you're gonna hit, sometimes you're gonna miss. So let's get into it without further ado. Taylor Heineke, top 3 performers for Jerry, 39.05. We have James Conner with 24.1 and CEH with 23.9. Other solid contributors, Trevor Lawrence with 22.46. His kicker put up 13. 14.5 for Mike Evans. That's pretty much it. A couple solid defenders as well. 9.5 was the smallest. Jalen Smith, who got released, only put up 1.5, so maybe that's why he got released, because he didn't want to play, I guess. I don't know. But now he's in Green Bay, so hopefully he didn't drop him. He might have. I don't know. I didn't look, and I'm not going to pick him up, so go for it. But shout out to you, Jerry. I'm very happy for you. I'm just happy that you got your first win. You're going to get more, whether, it's this year, next year, whatever. Get Will Fuller off your IR. Like, just drop him. I don't know why he's still on your team. But yeah, congratulations, Jerry. Very happy for you. Moving on to Craig's team with the unfortunate loss. Did I say? I don't remember. Did I say the score? If I didn't, 197.65 for Jerry to 159.78 for Craig. Craig's top 3 performers: Najee with 24.85, Jacoby Brissett with 19.51, and Big Ben with 15.28. No, I'm sorry. Amari Cooper with 15.9. Then Big Ben, and then his kicker was the next highest scorer. So, um, just a rough week for Craig. Uh, it happens to the best of us. I had one last week, and I got lucky with playing Jay. So, you know, it happens. But your team will be all right. Uh, let's see. Oh, on your Craig. You left Corey Davis on your bench over. Oh, I would have started him over Christian Kirk for sure. Obviously, it's in hindsight, but I don't. I love Corey Davis, but I don't love Christian Kirk, just personally. Obviously, like I said, it's in hindsight, and everything I'm saying is really irrelevant if you're even watching. Uh, but yeah, so shout out to Jerry. Very happy for you. Better luck next week, Craig, and we'll move on to our final matchup. On paper, this is like the best matchup, I feel like, just because I like both teams on paper. We had number 12, Will, just a disappointing, rough start for Will. He played a lot of high point totals. His quarterbacks have been rather under. Kyler's been really good. Let me take that back. And Lamar's been okay, but he hasn't had a lot of backup dancers either. I feel like I just contradicted the shit out of myself. He just hasn't been able to put it all together, essentially, is what I'm trying to say, even though I can't use those words until right there. Excuse me. So we have Kyler Murray with, Will lost. Again, heartbreakers. 212.86 to 215.44. I believe it was a stat correction for Eric. Super unfortunate for Will. He went to bed thinking he got the dub and then wakes up with an L. Rough way to start the Tuesday morning, huh? So starting with Craig, not Will. Tyreek Hill, 49.6 points. Tyreek fucking Hill, Jesus. Can we get some Travis Kelce, please? Josh Allen with 29.02 and David Montgomery with 29.35. Those three solid top three performers. Then you have, look at his defense. Trayvon Diggs, 17 points. This Alucon guy, Foyesade Alucon from the Falcons, 18 points. His offense didn't even show it. Thielen didn't do anything. Cooks had 11. Chris Carson got hurt, 7.35. Kirk Cousins put up 13.02. This was the week to take down Eric, and then his defenders put up a combined 35 points, between those two guys, and that's really the difference maker. If they have normal defending games, and say Trayvon Diggs, who's a DB, typically normal DBs put up around maybe 10 points, right? That's -7. That's a win for Will right there. Linebacker, 18 points. You kind of, depending on linebacker, and they're on the field a lot. So, he didn't even draft him. It was an auto pick. I remember. I was like, oh, who's this guy? He left Devontae Smith on his bench with 20.2 points. But it doesn't matter. He got the win without A.J. Brown as well. Then going over to Will's team, just a heartbreaker for Will. Top performers, we have Kyler Murray with 31.72, Terry McLaurin with 31.3, Lamar Jackson still not quite there yet, 25.79, even though they got a route win. Solid. His Bears defense put up 16.29. Kamara put up 19.5. Michael Pittman 11.9. Robert Woods 14.8. So he just had a bunch of solid guys that he had. His top three performers were all in the all in the 20s and above, which is always great. But then his defenders. It's a tale of defense and punters. I don't mean to be joking about punters right now. I'm very serious. If you can get somebody that just happens to get you 10 points as a punter, or you have two defenders that combine you for 35 points like Eric just had. Will's defenders, 9 plus 5, that's 14, plus 6.5, so that's 20.5, plus 8.5, so that's 29 points. That's less than 2 of Eric's defenders alone. That's the tale of two. If you look at this is the I keep stuttering because it's like anxiety, because I don't know how else to show you. This is literally what happens when you don't have a strong defensive core. It's nothing Will did. Like I said, it's just unlucky. You just unlucky. It just is what it is, and it sucks. Welcome to fantasy football. Again, this is the difference between winning and losing, and 250 and 215, or 212 in Will's case. But anyway, it's all irrelevant. It's just my opinion. I'm on his bench. He left Laviska Shenault 17.25. He finally decided to show up. So, that's unfortunate for Will. Not that he would have switched anybody out. Maybe Michael Pittman or Trey Sermon, but it's hard to say looking back. J.D. McKissick as well, 18.65. You start either one of those guys over, and you get the win. But it's just, you can make the same case, like I said, with Devontae Smith, but not that Eric's going to take any. I mean, maybe take out Adam, maybe not Alan Thielen, but I don't know. Like I said, it doesn't matter. Eric gets the win. Congratulations, Eric. Better luck next week, Will. As you fall to 1-3, Eric is the only undefeated team, 4-0. Oh, and before I forget, my record for last week, it was the best record I've had so far, I believe. I went 6-2. I chose Scott, who lost. Damn it, Scott. Greg, who got the dub. So that's 1-1. Hobert, who got the dub over Joe. So that's 2-1. Kyle took an L to Brandwagon. Damn it, Kyle. So that's 2-2. And then I chose Liam over myself, so that's 3-2. Dylan over Jay, 4-2, and then Jerry with the upset, 5-2, and then Eric over Will in the Powerhouse Teams on Papers matchup, 6-2. So that improves my season-long record to 18-14. So just something interesting to keep an eye on. Not that anybody cares. As always, if you have any questions, reach out. I'm going to try to record this. I might not have time to record. I'm going to try to record the preview video before this dinner thing. And then if not, I'll just have to be a zombie later and record it. So thanks for watching if you watched. Apologies again for the lack of energy. Just running on E right now. So, I just wanted to make sure I did the videos. I don't want to not do the videos because tomorrow's a wedding. And, well, I'm going to be not sober or capable to do this. So I hope everybody's doing well, and I will see you soon on the preview Power Rankings video for week 5. Peace out.